We've got the first entrant into the Kansas governor's race in 2026. Can you believe it? It is here. And the announcement came this morning on social media from the current Secretary of State, Scott Schwab. Let's roll the minute-long announcement from Scott Schwab.
We have a decision to make. Which path will we take? Property taxes are squeezing our seniors. Small towns are getting smaller. Rural communities are falling further behind. I'm Scott Schwab, a proud son of Great Bend, a Christian, a father, a believer in the American dream. I believe that to do something great, you have to throw off the chains that hold you back. For Kansas, those chains come from big government. So as Secretary of State, I streamlined business services and cut bureaucratic red tape. Secured our elections too. But there's more we can do. We need a plan to cut property taxes so Kansas families stop feeling the pinch. I believe Donald Trump is right. We need to stop China from buying farmland next to our military bases. It's a matter of security. And we need to return to the values and the principles that have always fueled us and gave me the strength to lead Topeka. I have a proven conservative record and a servant's heart. It's important for Kansas to take the right path. So for my family and yours, I'm Scott Schwab, and I'm running for governor.
Okay, Secretary of State, running as a Republican, obviously. Scott Schwab making that announcement this morning on social media. You can see it there. We just reshared it as well. And he is the first one who is in the mix here. Schwab first elected to the Kansas House of Representatives back in 2002, won his first term as Secretary of State in 2018, got reelected in 2022. You heard him say there that he grew up in Great Bend, currently a resident here in Overland Park, a graduate of Fort Hays State. So it's off and running. It's happening. There will be multiple Republicans who end up getting in this race. I guarantee you some will run to the right of Scott Schwab. There's no doubt about that in my mind. The people who think that everything, including, their mailman, is a deep state rigged, I want to stay FCC compliant here, goofball, will not like Scott Schwab. They don't think he's done enough when it comes to securing elections. But I'm just here to tell you, it is going to be very interesting. I hope it's not crazy. I hope we just get, some solid, good candidates who then debate real ideas and real issues that impact Kansans every single day. Some of those Scott Schwab brought up there, small towns getting smaller. Farmland, obviously, in Kansas, hopefully staying owned by Americans at the very least, certainly not China. That was a big issue in the Missouri governor's race this past year. The property tax thing, listen, it's a good talking point. The problem with your property taxes, our property taxes in Kansas, is not the state property tax. State property tax is peanuts compared to what you're paying to your city, to your county, to your schools. The state property tax is not going to be make or break for a lot of people. Not saying I don't love reducing all taxes. I'm just saying the problem with property taxes is what's happening at the city level. And while there are some good rules and regulations in place now that came from the state legislature, example, you get a letter in the mail every year from the state of Kansas that tells you what the proposed increases are from your county, from your school board, from your city. So that way you can see the breakdown. I think that's a good, transparent way to do it. And maybe there's something legislature can do in trying to cap what the cities are doing. And the cities, that's where they're robbing you blind. You look at most cities in Johnson County, and that's where you're seeing big increases. They get away with it by saying, the mill levy's not going up. Great. Well, your home value went up 10, 20%. So they're saying, we'll take another 10, 20% for our property taxes, put it in our coffers. That's what they're doing. Can the legislature do something about that? Might be able to this year. Who knows? But it's not really the state property tax that's the major issue right now. But either way, it's certainly a good thing to bring up. You had to get a Donald Trump mention in there, didn't you? I think it's required if you're going to run as a Republican these days. And I'm fine with that. Listen, the guy obviously has a mandate from the American people, just won the popular vote. Nothing wrong with it. But it's always interesting to me to see, all right, how is how is Trump going to work his way into the ad here? You know it's going to happen every single time. And you know that if he endorses in this race, in the primary at least, it's probably game, set, match. I don't know if he's going to want to. Trying to think. He didn't do it in 2022, but there really wasn't much of a primary, right? It was just Derek Schmidt. Go back to 2018. Kobach eked it out over Collier. I don't think he did anything there. He did come to Kansas that year in 2018 on behalf of Kobach and Steve Watkins. He did an event in Topeka, which I recall him being a part of, and I was there for that event. But that was after the primary. That was in October. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But Scott Schwab, the first guy in the mix.